The text message glowed on the screen like a neon sign advertising my own stupidity. Can't wait to feel you again. Tonight, Jay. I stood in our bedroom holding my wife's purse, the expensive leather one I'd bought her for our 15th anniversary, staring at a phone I'd never seen before, a cheap burner, the kind you pick up at a gas station when you're planning something you don't want traced. My hands weren't shaking. That surprised me. I thought they should be shaking. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Ray, you home? Beth's voice drifted up from downstairs, all sweetness and light. The same voice that had whispered, "I love you" this morning before I left for work. I slipped the phone back into the hidden pocket of her purse, exactly where I'd found it, and walked to the bathroom. Splashed cold water on my face, looked at myself in the mirror. Ray Parrish, 39 years old, owner of half a successful electrical contracting business, father of 2 teenage daughters, husband to a woman who apparently needed a secret phone to coordinate her extracurricular activities. The face staring back at me looked the same as it had this morning. Same dark hair going gray at the temples, same tired eyes, same small scar above my left eyebrow from when John, my brother, my business partner, accidentally hit me with a baseball bat when we were kids. Accidentally. Even then, John had a talent for making his attacks look unintentional. "Ray?" Beth called again, closer now. I could hear her footsteps on the stairs. I dried my face and walked out of the bathroom, meeting her in the hallway. She was wearing yoga pants and a fitted top, her blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail. At 38, she still turned heads. She knew it too. "Hey, babe," she said, kissing my cheek. Her perfume, something new, something expensive, filled my nose. "How was your day?" "Same old," I said. My voice sounded normal. That surprised me too. "Bidding on the hospital expansion project. John thinks we can undercut Morrison Electric by 15% and still make a profit." "That's great!" She squeezed my arm. "I'm so proud of you guys. Building the family business, just like your dad wanted." My dad. Dead 6 years now. Heart attack at 62. Probably brought on by stress from trying to keep John and me from killing each other. Mom still controlled the majority shares in Parrish Electric, but John and I ran the day-to-day operations. Or tried to, when we weren't competing over everything from client contracts to who got the corner office. "What about your day?" I asked, following her downstairs, playing the game, pretending I didn't know. "Oh, grocery shopping, picked up Bree from soccer practice, helped Bo with her college essay." She moved into the kitchen, started pulling things from the refrigerator. "Jenny called. She wants to know if we're coming to the Hendersons' party on Saturday." Jenny. One of Beth's friends from the country club. The same country club where Beth had started spending 3 evenings a week taking tennis lessons 6 months ago. I'd thought it was a midlife crisis thing, a harmless way for a stay-at-home mom to feel young again. "Can't wait to feel you again." "Sure," I said. "Sounds fun." Beth glanced at me over her shoulder. "You okay? You seem distracted." "Just tired. Big week coming up." She smiled. "Well, the girls are at their friends' houses tonight. Maybe we could open a bottle of wine, watch a movie, like old times." Old times? When was that, exactly? Before the secret phone? Before the mysterious Jay? Before I'd started noticing how she angled her phone away from me when she texted? Before the credit card statements showing charges at restaurants I'd never been to? "Maybe," I said. "I've got some paperwork to review first." Disappointment flashed across her face, quickly replaced by understanding. "Of course. The hospital project. I'll make dinner." I retreated to my home office, closed the door, and sat at my desk. Didn't turn on the computer. Just sat there in the dim light thinking. Jay. John's name was Jonathan. Everyone called him John. He was 42, 3 years older than me, and he'd spent our entire lives reminding me of it. John got his driver's license first. John graduated first. John got promoted to partner first. Even though I'd been working at the company longer, John was smoother, more charming, better at playing the political games that came with running a business. But he wouldn't. He couldn't. Not with Beth. Not with my wife. Except I'd noticed things lately. The way John always volunteered to pick Beth up when her car was in the shop. The inside jokes they shared at family dinners. How Beth had suddenly started coming to more company events. Always finding reasons to talk to John, laugh at his stories. I pulled out my phone, my regular non-burner phone, and scrolled through my contacts. Found Mike Brennan, my best friend since high school. Mike ran a security company now. Did a lot of surveillance work for divorce attorneys. My thumb hovered over his name. Not yet. I needed to be sure. Needed evidence. Because if I was wrong, if Jay was someone else, some random affair partner, then I was about to blow up my life over nothing. Well, not nothing. Beth was still cheating, but at least it wouldn't be with my brother. And if I was right? I put the phone down, opened my laptop, started researching divorce attorneys in our area using an incognito browser window, took notes on a legal pad, the old-fashioned way. Nothing digital, nothing traceable. By the time Beth called me for dinner, I had a plan forming, not a complete plan, but the beginning of one. We ate chicken and vegetables at the kitchen table, making small talk about Beau's college applications and Bree's upcoming soccer tournament. Beth told a funny story about running into Mrs. Henderson at the grocery store. I laughed in the right places, complimented the food, helped clear the dishes. Normal. Everything was normal. Except for the burner phone upstairs in her purse, except for the text message from Jay, except for the way my wife kept checking her watch, like she was expecting something, or someone. "I'm going to take a bath," Beth announced after we'd loaded the dishwasher. "Long day. My back's killing me." "Sure," I said. "I'll be in my office." She kissed my cheek again. Same perfume. Same smile. Same woman I'd married 16 years ago who'd walked down the aisle in a white dress and promised to love me until death do us part. I waited until I heard the bathroom door close, heard the water running. Then I went upstairs, moving quietly. Her purse was on the bed where she'd left it. I pulled out the burner phone. 3 new messages, all from Jay. "Where are you?" "Beth? Call me. We need to talk about Saturday." Saturday. The Hendersons' party. What about Saturday? I heard the water shut off. Footsteps. I shoved the phone back into the purse and retreated to my office, closing the door just as Beth emerged from the bathroom in her robe. My heart was pounding now. Finally. The shock was wearing off, replaced by something else, something cold and sharp. I opened my laptop again, kept researching. Divorce law in our state, asset division, child custody. What happened to business partnerships when one partner's marriage dissolved? What happened when that marriage dissolved because the other partner was sleeping with the first partner's wife? The law, I discovered, didn't care much about adultery anymore. No-fault divorce, equitable distribution, best interests of the children, all very civilized, all very modern. But there were other ways to make someone pay. Legal ways, professional ways, social ways. I started making lists. Around 10 o'clock, Beth knocked on my office door. "Ray, I'm going to bed. You coming?" "In a bit," I called back. "Almost done here." "Don't work too late," she said. "Love you. Love you too." The words came automatically. Muscle memory. 16 years of saying them. I listened to her footsteps retreat down the hall, listened to our bedroom door close, gave her 15 minutes. Then I crept down the hall, pressed my ear to the door. She was talking. Quietly. Urgently. "I can't keep doing this. Ray's getting suspicious. No, I don't know what he knows. Saturday, yes, but we have to be careful." I pulled out my phone, opened the voice recorder app, pressed record and held it near the door. Told you, he's not stupid. Your brother, John? Yes, I know the risks. But it's worth it, isn't it? We're worth it. Your brother, John. There it was. Confirmation. Not some stranger. Not some random affair. My brother. My business partner. The person I'd worked alongside for 20 years, building the company our father started. I stopped the recording. Saved it. Backed it up to 3 different cloud services. Then I went downstairs, poured myself 3 fingers of bourbon, and sat in the dark living room, thinking. Beth wanted to be careful. Didn't want me to know. Probably planning to string me along until... What? Until she and John figured out how to push me out of the business? Until they could make their relationship public without losing everything? Too late for careful. Too late for secrets. But not too late for me to control how this played out. I finished the bourbon, poured another, started refining my plan. By the time I went to bed, sleeping in the guest room, claiming I didn't want to disturb Beth with my late-night work, I knew exactly what I was going to do. Marriage is just paperwork, Beth had said once, drunk at a party 6 months ago. Everyone had laughed. I'd laughed too, thinking it was a joke. Turns out, she was right. Marriage was paperwork, and I was very, very good with paperwork. Parrish Electric's 30th anniversary celebration fell on a Friday night in early October. Perfect weather. Golden autumn light slanting through the windows of the Riverside Club, where we'd rented the main ballroom. 200 guests, employees, clients, vendors, family, friends. An open bar, a catering spread that cost more than my first car. A slideshow of company history playing on a big screen, showing my father's original crew in the 1990s, then John and me joining the business, then the expansion, the awards, the growth. My mother had insisted on the party. Your father would have wanted this, she'd said, in that tone that meant the discussion was over. Ruth Parrish, 65 years old, 5 feet 2 inches of pure determination. She'd been a nurse before marrying my dad, and she still had that nurse's ability to make you do things you didn't want to do, for your own good. I stood near the bar, nursing a beer, watching Beth work the room. She was in her element at events like this. Charming, gracious, remembering everyone's names and asking about their kids. The perfect contractor's wife. She wore a blue dress that showed off her figure, and I watched men's eyes follow her as she moved through the crowd. John was holding court near the buffet, telling stories to a group of our biggest clients. He was good at this too, better than me, if I was honest. I was the one who made sure the jobs got done right, who sweated the details, who solved the problems. John was the face of the company, the smooth talker, the closer. Hell of a party, Carl Robertson said, appearing at my elbow. Carl was our operations manager, had been with us for 15 years, loyal, competent, one of the few people in the company I trusted completely. Your mom outdid herself. She always does, I said. You okay? Carl asked. You seem distracted. Just tired. Been a long week. Carl gave me a look that said he didn't believe me, but he didn't push. Well, enjoy the party. You earned it. We all did. He drifted off toward the food, and I was alone again, watching, waiting. I'd spent the past 3 weeks gathering evidence. Mike Brennan had put a GPS tracker on Beth's car, totally legal, since it was registered in my name. I'd recovered deleted texts from her phone using software any teenager could download. I'd reviewed our credit card statements going back 6 months, highlighting charges I didn't recognize. I'd talked to a divorce attorney named Patricia Moss, who'd laid out my options with brutal clarity. And I'd watched, seen Beth and John together at the office, at family dinners at the country club, seen the way they looked at each other when they thought no one was paying attention, the casual touches, the inside jokes, the easy intimacy of 2 people who'd been sleeping together for months. It had started, as far as I could tell, around April, 6 months ago, right after Beth had started her tennis lessons, right after John had broken up with his girlfriend of 2 years, right after I'd been so busy with the hospital project that I was working 70-hour weeks and barely coming home. They'd been careful. I had to give them that. No hotels in town, no obvious meetings. They used the burner phones, met at an Airbnb 2 towns over, always on different days, always with plausible cover stories, but not careful enough. Ray! My mother materialized beside me, resplendent in a burgundy pantsuit. Stop lurking by the bar like some kind of ghost. Go mingle. This is your party too. Yes, ma'am, I said, because you didn't argue with Ruth Parrish. She studied my face. You look tired. Are you sleeping enough? I'm fine, Mom. She didn't believe me either. Where are the girls? Bo's at a friend's house, Bree's at soccer camp this weekend. And Beth? Around somewhere, I said vaguely. Mom's eyes narrowed. She knew something was wrong. Mothers always knew. But before she could interrogate me further, someone called her name, and she was pulled away into the crowd. I took a deep breath. Time to start the show. I found Beth near the dessert table talking to Jenny Henderson and 2 other country club wives. They were laughing about something, wine glasses in hand. Ladies, I said, joining their circle. Having fun? Ray! Jenny air-kissed my cheek. Wonderful party. You and John must be so proud. We are, I said. I put my arm around Beth's waist. She stiffened slightly, then relaxed, leaning into me, playing her part. Couldn't have done it without this one. She's been my rock through everything. The women made appreciative noises. Beth smiled up at me, but her eyes were wary. In fact, I continued, I was just thinking about what Beth said a while back. Remember, honey? At the Mitchells' party? Her smile froze. I don't. Sure you do. You said marriage is just paperwork. I kept my tone light, conversational. I thought that was so funny, so practical. Very you. The other women laughed uncertainly. Jenny said, Well, I mean, legally speaking. Exactly, I said. Legally speaking, marriage is a contract, terms and conditions, rights and obligations, and if one party breaches the contract, I shrugged. Well, that's what lawyers are for, right? Dead silence. Beth had gone pale. Ray, she said quietly, can we talk? Privately? Of course, sweetheart. I kissed her temple. Excuse us, ladies. I steered her toward a quiet corner near the coat check. She jerked away from me as soon as we were out of sight. What the hell was that? She hissed. What was what? That passive-aggressive bullshit in front of my friends. I was just making conversation, I said mildly. Talking about marriage, our marriage. Is there a problem? She stared at me. I could see the calculations running behind her eyes. How much did I know? What was I planning? Could she bluff her way through this? You've been acting weird for weeks, she said finally. Distant, cold. If something's wrong, just tell me. Nothing's wrong, I lied. I'm just tired. The hospital project, remember? Lots of stress. Ray, we should get back to the party, I said. People will talk. I walked away, leaving her standing there, felt her eyes on my back. Good. Let her worry. Let her wonder. I found John near the bar, doing shots with a group of our younger employees. He was drunk, not sloppy drunk, but that loose, expansive drunk where everything seemed hilarious and possible. Little brother, he called when he saw me. Come do a shot with us, we're celebrating. I'm good, I said. Can I talk to you for a minute? Sure. He followed me to a quieter spot, near the windows overlooking the river. The sun was setting, painting the water orange and gold. Beautiful, peaceful. The kind of view that belonged in a different story, where brothers didn't betray each other. What's up? John asked. His eyes were glassy, his smile too wide. I've been thinking about the business, I said. About our partnership agreement. Oh God, not tonight, Ray. Can't we just enjoy the party? Did you know, I continued, ignoring him, that if one partner engages in conduct detrimental to the business, the other partner can petition for dissolution of the partnership? John's smile faded. What are you talking about? Just something I learned, From our attorney. Interesting stuff, partnership law, lots of clauses about fiduciary duty, loyalty, acting in good faith. Ray. And apparently, I said, my voice still conversational, still pleasant. If one partner is found to have violated those duties, he can be forced to sell his shares at a significant discount. John was sober now. Stone cold sober. What the hell is this about? Nothing, I said, just thinking out loud. Enjoy the party, John. I walked away again, 2 for 2, both of them off balance now, both of them scared. The rest of the party passed in a blur. I smiled, shook hands, accepted congratulations, gave a short speech thanking everyone for their hard work, watched Beth and John avoid each other, watched them both watch me, trying to figure out what I knew. Around 10 o'clock, as people were starting to leave, my mother cornered me again. "What's going on?" she demanded. "And don't tell me nothing. I've known you for 39 years, Ray. I can tell when you're planning something." I looked at her. Really looked at her. She'd aged in the 6 years since Dad died. More gray in her hair, more lines around her eyes, but she was still sharp, still formidable. "John's having an affair with Beth," I said quietly. Mom didn't gasp, didn't look shocked, just closed her eyes briefly, then opened them again. "You're sure?" "I'm sure." "How long?" 6 months, give or take." She was quiet for a moment, processing. Then, "What are you going to do?" "Fix it," I said. "My way. Ray. I'm not going to do anything illegal, Mom, or violent, I promise. But I'm also not going to just roll over and let them get away with it." She studied my face. Then, slowly, she nodded. "Your father always said you were the smart one. John had the charm, but you had the brains." She squeezed my arm. "Do what you need to do. I'll back you up." Relief flooded through me. I hadn't realized how much I needed to hear that. "Thank you." "But Ray," she looked up at me, her eyes fierce. "Don't let this destroy you. Don't become someone you're not. Revenge is fine, but not at the cost of your soul." "I won't," I said. "I promise." She didn't look convinced, but she let it go. I stayed until the last guest left, until the caterers had cleaned up, until the ballroom was empty except for a few forgotten napkins and the fading smell of food and perfume. Beth had left early, claiming a headache. John had disappeared around 11 with some of his drinking buddies. I stood alone in the empty room looking at the slideshow still cycling on the big screen. Pictures of my dad, young and strong, building something from nothing. Pictures of John and me as kids, standing beside him at job sites. Pictures of the three of us at the ribbon cutting for our new headquarters, a family business, built on trust, on loyalty, on blood. All of it lies. I turned off the slideshow, turned off the lights, walked out into the cool October night. Monday morning, Beth would be served with divorce papers, at the PTA meeting, in front of all her friends, in front of everyone who'd ever smiled at her and told her how lucky she was to have such a wonderful husband. And that would be just the beginning. I didn't go home Friday night. Told Beth I was crashing at Mike's place, too tired to drive after the party. She didn't argue, probably relieved to have the house to herself, to call John without worrying about me overhearing. Instead, I went to my office. Spent the weekend there going through files, documenting everything. Every questionable expense John had approved. Every time he'd used company resources for personal business. Every client he'd schmoozed at strip clubs and charged to the company card. Nothing illegal. John was too smart for that. But plenty that would look bad if the right people saw it. I also reviewed the partnership agreement, really studied it, with Patricia Moss's annotations, found the clauses I needed, the escape hatches, the nuclear options. Monday morning I was in Patricia's office at 8 a.m. "You're sure about this?" she asked, reviewing the documents one last time. Patricia was 50-something, with steel gray hair and the kind of face that had seen every variation of human ugliness and stopped being surprised. "Once you file," There's no taking it back. I'm sure, I said. And you want the papers served at the PTA meeting? Yes. That's aggressive. That's the point. She looked at me over her reading glasses. Mr. Parrish, Ray, I have to ask, is this about ending the marriage or is this about hurting your wife? Both, I said honestly. She humiliated me. She betrayed me. She did it with my brother in my town, probably laughing about what a fool I was. So yes, I want her to hurt. I want everyone to see what she did. I want her to feel exactly what I felt when I found that burner phone. Patricia was quiet for a moment. Then she nodded. Fair enough. I'll have the process server there at 7 p.m. That's when the meeting starts? 7 sharp. And your brother? What's your plan there? That's phase 2, I said. First the marriage, then the business. You know he could make things difficult. Fight you on the partnership dissolution. Let him try, I said. I've got Mom on my side. She controls 51% of the voting shares. If she wants John out, John's out. And she wants him out? She will, I said. Once I show her everything I've found. Patricia gathered the documents, slid them into a folder. Okay, papers will be filed this morning, service tonight. After that, things are going to move fast. Your wife will have 30 days to respond. She'll probably hire an attorney, fight for alimony, maybe try to claim part of your business assets. She can try, I said. But the prenup's airtight. She gets nothing except what I choose to give her. Prenups can be challenged. Not this one. You wrote it, remember? Patricia smiled thinly. So I did. Okay, Mr. Parrish, let's blow up your life. I went to work after that. Normal Monday. Reviewed bids, met with clients, checked on job sites. John was in and out of the office, busy with his own meetings. We barely spoke. He was still wary from Friday night, still trying to figure out what I knew. He'd find out soon enough. At 6:30, I left the office, drove to Riverside Elementary, where the PTA meeting was held in the cafeteria, parked across the street in the lot of a closed gas station, waited. Beth arrived at 6:45, driving her BMW. She'd dressed up for this, slacks and a blazer, like she was going to a job interview instead of a school meeting. She cared about these things, about appearances, about being respected, about being humiliated in front of everyone she knew. I watched her walk into the building, watched other parents arrive, recognized most of them, neighbors, acquaintances, people I'd known for years, people who'd been to our house for barbecues, people whose kids played with my kids. At 7 o'clock, I saw the process server arrive. Young guy, maybe 25, carrying a manila envelope. He checked his phone, confirmed the address, and walked inside. I waited. 5 minutes later, my phone rang. Beth. I let it go to voicemail. It rang again immediately. Again. Again. I turned off the phone. At 7:30, people started leaving the meeting early, talking in clusters, looking at their phones. The gossip had started. By 8 o'clock, when the meeting officially ended, there was a crowd outside. Beth emerged in the middle of it, her face blotchy and red. Jenny Henderson had an arm around her shoulders. Other women clustered around, offering comfort, asking questions. I started my truck and drove away. Went to Mike's house, where I actually was staying now. He'd offered his guest room when I'd told him what was happening. Stay as long as you need, he'd said. And if you need anything else, surveillance, security, whatever, just ask. I might take you up on that, I'd said. Now, sitting in his living room with a beer, I turned my phone back on. 37 missed calls, 23 text messages, all from Beth. I read through them, watched the progression from shock to anger to desperation. What the hell, Ray? Call me now. How could you do this to me? In front of everyone. You bastard. Please call me. We need to talk. The girls are going to be devastated. I can explain everything. Please. I deleted them all, blocked her number. She could communicate through her attorney from now on. My phone rang again, John this time. I answered. What the fuck did you do? He said without preamble. Filed for divorce, I said calmly. Why? Is that a problem? You had her served at a PTA meeting, Ray. In front of half the neighborhood. That's efficient, I suggested. Effective? Extremely satisfying? It's cruel. Oh, that's rich. You're lecturing me about cruelty? You? While you're fucking my wife? Silence on the other end. Long, heavy silence. Yeah, I said. I know. I've known for weeks. So save your outrage, John. Save your excuses. I don't want to hear them. Ray, we'll talk tomorrow, I said. At the office, 10 a.m. Bring your attorney. You're going to need one. I hung up, blocked his number too. Mike came downstairs carrying 2 more beers. How'd it go? Perfect, I said. Absolutely perfect. You okay? I thought about that. Was I okay? My marriage was over. My brother had betrayed me. My daughters were going to be caught in the middle of a nightmare. My life as I'd known it was finished. But for the first time in weeks, I felt clear, focused, like I had a purpose. Yeah, I said. I'm okay. What's next? Next, I said, I deal with John. The next morning, I was at the office at 7 a.m., spent 3 hours with Patricia and a corporate attorney named David Chen, going over the partnership agreement, the company bylaws, the shareholder agreements, building the case. At 9:30, my mother arrived. I'd asked her to come early, needed her on board before John showed up. Show me everything, she said. I did. Showed her the evidence of the affair, texts, photos, GPS records. Showed her John's questionable business expenses. Showed her how he'd been using company funds to pay for the Airbnb, disguising it as client entertainment. She sat through it all without speaking. Her face got harder with each new revelation. When I finished, she was quiet for a long moment. Your father would be heartbroken, she said finally. I know. John was always his favorite. Did you know that? Yeah, Mom. I knew. She looked at me. But you were mine. You were always mine, because you had integrity. You did the right thing, even when it was hard, even when it cost you. I'm not sure I'm doing the right thing now, I admitted. I'm not sure what I'm doing is about integrity. It might just be revenge. Maybe, she said, but sometimes revenge is right. Sometimes people need to face consequences. She stood up, straightened her jacket. I'll vote to dissolve the partnership. Whatever you need, you have my support. Thank you. But Ray, don't lose yourself in this. Don't become like him. I won't, I said. For the second time, hoping it was true. John arrived at 10 with an attorney I didn't recognize. Expensive suit, slicked back hair, the kind of lawyer who advertised on billboards. We met in the conference room. Me, Patricia, David, Mom, John, and his attorney. This is unnecessary, John started. Whatever Ray thinks. You're having an affair with his wife, Mom said flatly. Don't insult us by denying it. John's attorney leaned over, whispered something. John shook his head. I'm not denying it. But it's complicated. It's really not, I said. You're sleeping with Beth. You've been using company resources to facilitate the affair. You violated your fiduciary duty to the partnership. And now I'm exercising my right under Section 12.3 of our partnership agreement to petition for dissolution. David slid a document across the table. This is a formal notice of dissolution proceedings. You have 30 days to respond. John's attorney picked it up, scanned it, whispered to John again. John was pale now. You can't do this. I can, I said. And I am. Mom? Don't, she said. Don't you dare ask me to choose. You made your choice when you decided to betray your brother. It's not like that. Beth and we didn't plan this. It just happened. Things don't just happen, John, I said. People make choices. You chose to sleep with my wife. Beth chose to cheat on me. And now I'm choosing to end both relationships. Permanently. You're going to destroy the company, John said. Dad's company. Everything he built. No, I said. I'm going to save it, from you. The meeting went downhill from there. John's attorney tried to negotiate, tried to find a middle ground, but there wasn't one. I wanted John out. Mom backed me up. And between us, we had the votes. By noon, it was done. John had 30 days to sell his shares back to the company, at the price specified in the partnership agreement, which was significantly below market value. After that, he'd have no ownership stake, no say in operations, no job. You're going to regret this, John said as he left. Both of you. I already regret plenty, I said, but this isn't one of them. After they were gone, I sat in the conference room with Mom and my attorneys, feeling drained, hollowed out. That was the hard part, Patricia said. Now comes the harder part. What's that? Living with what you've done. The gossip spread through town like a virus. By Tuesday afternoon, everyone knew. Ray Parrish's wife was cheating on him with his brother. Ray had filed for divorce. Ray was forcing John out of the family business. The Parrish family was imploding, and everyone had a front row seat. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. Friends, acquaintances, clients, all wanting to know what was happening, offering support, asking for details. I stopped answering, let everything go to voicemail. The girls came home Tuesday night. Beth had told them some sanitized version of events. Dad and I are having problems, we need some space. But they weren't stupid. Bo was 15, Bree was 13. They'd heard the gossip. They had questions. I met them at the house. Beth was there too. We'd agreed to tell them together, one of the few things we'd agreed on. Your mother and I are getting divorced, I said. Straight to the point. No sugarcoating. She had an affair with your Uncle John. I found out, and I decided I couldn't stay married to her. Bo started crying immediately. Bree just stared at me, her face blank. This isn't how we wanted to tell you, Beth said. Her voice was shaky. We wanted to wait until what? I asked. Until you and John figured out how to spin it? Until you could make me look like the bad guy? Ray, please. Mom cheated on you? Bo asked. With Uncle John? Yes, I said. That's disgusting, Bree said. Her voice was cold, flat. How could you do that, Mom? It's complicated, Beth started. Sometimes adults... It's not complicated, I said. She made a choice, a bad choice, and now there are consequences. Don't do this, Beth said. Don't turn them against me. I'm not turning them against you. I'm telling them the truth. We fought for another hour. Beth crying, the girls crying, everyone yelling. In the end, we agreed the girls would stay with me for now. Beth would get them on weekends once she found a new place. She was still living in our house, but I'd moved out. Couldn't stand to be there. I hate you, Bo said to Beth as she left. I hate you for doing this to us. Beth looked at me like I should defend her. Correct, Bo. Tell her not to say things like that. I didn't. After Beth left, I ordered pizza and sat with the girls in the living room, tried to watch TV, tried to act normal, but nothing was normal anymore. Are you okay, Dad? Bree asked finally. I will be, I said. We all will be. Eventually. I don't believe you, she said. I know, I said. But it's true anyway. The next few weeks were a blur. Lawyers, meetings, paperwork. Beth hired an attorney, a shark named Mitchell Crane, who immediately filed motions challenging the prenup, demanding spousal support, trying to claim part of my business assets. Patricia shut him down at every turn. The prenup held. Beth got the house, her car, and a modest settlement. That was it. She's going to fight this, Patricia warned. Crane's already talking about appealing, claiming emotional distress, all kinds of nonsense. Let her fight, I said. I've got time, and money, and I'm not backing down. John was fighting too. His attorney filed a counter-petition, claiming I was forcing him out for personal reasons, not business reasons, claiming the dissolution was retaliatory. David Chen demolished that argument with the evidence I'd gathered. The questionable expenses, the misuse of company resources, the violation of fiduciary duty. He doesn't have a case, David said. But he's going to make noise, probably try to drag this out, make it expensive for you. I don't care, I said. I want him gone. But it was expensive and exhausting. And it was affecting the business. Clients were nervous. Employees were taking sides. Projects were falling behind because John and I couldn't be in the same room without security present. Carl pulled me aside one day in late October. This has to stop, Ray. The company can't survive this kind of chaos. I know, I said. So end it. Buy John out. Pay him whatever he wants. Just make it go away. No, I said. He doesn't get to walk away rich. He doesn't get to win. Nobody's winning here, Carl said. You're both losing. The company's losing. Your family's losing. I don't care, I said. He betrayed me. He has to pay. Carl looked at me for a long moment. You're not the same person you were a month ago. You know that, right? Good, I said. That person was a sucker. But Carl was right. I wasn't the same. I was harder, colder, more ruthless. I'd stopped sleeping well, stopped eating regularly, spent every waking hour planning my next move, anticipating Beth's and John's next moves, staying 3 steps ahead. My mother noticed. You're scaring me, she said one night over dinner. Just the 2 of us. The girls were with Beth for the weekend. Why? Because you look like your father did right before his heart attack. Obsessed, driven, unable to let go. I'm fine, Mom. You're not fine. You're destroying yourself to destroy them. They deserve it. Maybe, she said. But do you deserve this? Do you deserve to become someone you don't recognize? I didn't have an answer for that. November came. The divorce was progressing. Beth had moved into an apartment across town, a small 2-bedroom that was a far cry from our 4-bedroom house. She was working now, for the first time in 15 years, some administrative job at a real estate office, making barely enough to cover rent. The girls were struggling. Beau's grades were slipping. Bree had quit soccer, lost interest in everything. They were angry at Beth, but they were angry at me too, for blowing up their lives, for making everything public, for not just handling it quietly like normal people. Why did you have to serve her at the PTA meeting? Beau demanded one night. Everyone at school knows. Everyone's talking about us. It's humiliating. Your mother humiliated me first, I said. So you humiliated her back? That's mature. I'm not trying to be mature. I'm trying to make a point. What point? That you're just as bad as she is? That stung. Because maybe she was right. Maybe I was just as bad. Maybe worse. But I couldn't stop. Couldn't let it go. Every time I thought about Beth and John together, every time I remembered that burner phone, that text message, "Can't wait to feel you again," I felt the rage all over again, fresh and hot and consuming. So I kept going, kept pushing, kept finding new ways to make them hurt. I leaked information about the affair to key clients. Not directly, I wasn't stupid, but I made sure the right people heard the right gossip at the right times. Made sure everyone knew John couldn't be trusted. Made sure his reputation was destroyed. Contracts started falling through. Clients stopped returning his calls. By mid-November, John had been effectively frozen out of the business, even though he technically still owned shares. You're killing him, Carl said. Professionally, financially. Is that really what you want? Yes, I said. That's exactly what I want. But it wasn't enough. It was never enough. Because they were still together. Beth and John, living their lives, probably planning their future, probably laughing about how they'd gotten away with it, how I'd never really known, how they'd been so careful, until I'd caught them. I needed more. Needed something bigger. Something that would hurt them the way they'd hurt me. And then, in late November, I got my chance. The Hendersons were having their annual Thanksgiving party. Big event. Everyone who was anyone in town attended. I wasn't planning to go, too public, too many questions. But then I got a call from Jenny Henderson. "Ray, I know things are awkward, but please come," she said. "We've been friends for years. Don't let Beth and John ruin that." "Are they coming?" I asked. Yes, I invited them before all this happened. I can't uninvite them now." "Then I'll be there," I said. Jenny was surprised. "Really? You're sure that's a good idea?" "Absolutely sure," I said, because I'd just realized something. Beth and John had been careful about being seen together in public. They'd kept the affair secret for months. But now that it was out in the open, now that everyone knew, they'd probably feel safe. Might even be planning to make their first public appearance as a couple. And I was going to be there to see it, to document it, to use it. I called Mike. "I need your help with something." "Name it," he said. "I need surveillance equipment, small cameras, audio recorders, the kind of stuff you use for investigations." "Ray, I'm not doing anything illegal. I just want to record what happens at a party I'm invited to. That's not illegal, right?" "It's gray area. Depends on what you do with the recordings." "I'll worry about that later. Can you help me or not?" He sighed. "Yeah, I can help you." The night of the party, I arrived early, helped Jenny set up, made small talk with other guests, acted normal, planted 3 small cameras in strategic locations, one in the living room, one in the kitchen, one on the back patio where people went to smoke, all wireless, all streaming to my phone. Then I waited. Beth and John arrived together at 8 o'clock, not hiding anymore, walking in side by side like a real couple. The room went quiet. Everyone stared. Then the whispers started. I watched from across the room, sipping a beer, my face neutral. Beth saw me, froze. John saw me too. They had a whispered conversation, clearly debating whether to stay or leave. They stayed. Brave. Stupid. But brave. I let them settle in. Watched them work the room separately, trying to seem casual, trying to pretend everything was normal. Around 9 o'clock, I made my move. Walked up to John, who was standing near the bar. "Hey," I said. He turned, wary. "Ray, can we talk? Outside?" "I don't think that's a good idea." "I do," I said. "Please, just 5 minutes." He looked around. People were watching. If he refused, he'd look like a coward. "Fine," he said. 5 minutes. We went out to the back patio. Cold November night. Our breath fogged in the air. The camera I'd planted was hidden in a potted plant, pointed right at us. "What do you want?" John asked. "I want to understand," I said. "Why her? Why Beth? You could have had anyone. Why my wife?" He was quiet for a moment. Then, "It wasn't about you, Ray." "Bullshit. It was entirely about me. You've been competing with me your whole life. This was just another way to win. That's not—" "Yes, it is. Admit it. You wanted what I had, the wife, the family, the respect, and you took it." "I loved her," John said quietly. "I still love her." That stopped me, because I'd expected denial, expected excuses, but not that. "You love her," I repeated. "Yes." "For how long?" "Years," he said. "Since before you married her. But she chose you. And I tried to be okay with that. I tried to move on, but I couldn't. And then, last spring, we were working on the company anniversary party together, and we just connected. It wasn't planned. It just happened." "Things don't just happen," I said. "You made a choice." "So did she." "Yeah. And now you both get to live with the consequences." "What does that mean?" "It means I'm not done," I said. "Not even close. You think losing the business is enough? You think a divorce is enough? You have no idea what I'm capable of." John stared at me. "You're threatening me?" "I'm promising you," I said. "By the time I'm done, you'll wish you'd never met Beth. You'll wish you'd never heard my name." I walked away, leaving him standing there. Went back inside. Found Beth in the kitchen, talking to some of her former friends, women who were being polite but cool, women who'd chosen sides. "Beth," I said, "can I talk to you?" She looked like she wanted to refuse, but like John, she was trapped by social expectations. "Fine," she said. We went to a quiet corner of the living room, another camera angle. "I'm going to make you an offer," I said quietly. "One time only." "What kind of offer?" "Drop the appeals, accept the divorce settlement as is, walk away quietly, and I'll leave you alone. No more games, no more revenge. We co-parent the girls like adults, and we move on with our lives." "And if I don't?" "Then I keep going," I said. "I make sure everyone in this town knows exactly what you did. I make sure you can't get a job, can't make friends, can't show your face anywhere without people whispering. I make your life hell." "You're already doing that," she said. "No," I said. "I'm just getting started." She studied my face. "You've changed. You used to be kind, gentle. Now you're just cruel." "You made me this way," I said. "You and John. You broke something in me, and now I'm breaking you back." The girls will be fine. They'll adjust. Kids are resilient." "They hate me," she said, her voice cracked. "My own daughters hate me." "Then you should have thought of that before you cheated." She started crying, quiet, hopeless tears. "I'm sorry. I know it doesn't matter, but I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you." "But you did," I said. "And sorry doesn't fix it." I left her there, went back to the party, collected my cameras, said goodbye to Jenny, went home, watched the recordings that night, watched John admit he loved Beth, watched Beth cry and apologize, watched both of them look broken and scared, and felt nothing, no satisfaction, no relief, just emptiness. Carl had been right. I wasn't the same person anymore. I'd become someone else. Someone harder. Someone capable of things I'd never thought I'd do. And I didn't know how to stop. December came. The divorce was finalized the week before Christmas. Beth got the house, her car, and a small cash settlement. I got primary custody of the girls, the business, and my freedom. John's buyout was complete too. He was officially out of Parrish Electric. Mom and I owned the company now, 51% and 49% respectively. I should have felt victorious, relieved, something. Instead, I felt empty. The girls were with Beth for Christmas. I spent the holiday alone in Mike's guest room, drinking bourbon and watching old movies, thinking about the past year, about everything that had changed. My phone rang around 10 p.m. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me. "Ray?" A woman's voice, familiar. "Connie?" My sister. I hadn't talked to her in months. She lived in Seattle, worked for a tech company, visited maybe once a year. "Yeah, Mom told me what happened. I'm sorry I didn't call sooner. I didn't know what to say." "It's okay," I said. "Not much to say anyway." "Are you okay?" "I'm fine." "Liar," she said. "I talked to Mom. She's worried about you. Says you've become obsessed with revenge. Says you're not yourself." "Mom worries too much." "Ray, listen to me. I know John and Beth hurt you. I know what they did was unforgivable. But you can't let it consume you. You can't become the villain in your own story." "Too late," I said. "I already am." "No, you're not. Not yet. But you will be if you keep going down this path." "What path?" "It's over. I won. They lost. End of story." "Is it?" she asked. "Because from what Mom tells me, you're still finding ways to hurt them, still sabotaging John's job prospects, still spreading gossip about Beth. That's not winning, Ray. That's just cruelty." "They deserve it." "Maybe. But do you deserve to become this person? Do you deserve to lose yourself?" I didn't answer. Couldn't answer. "Come to Seattle," Connie said. "After the holidays. Take a break. Get some distance. Figure out who you want to be." "I can't." The business. Carl can handle the business. You know he can. He's been handling most of it anyway while you've been focused on revenge. She was right. Carl had been running day-to-day operations for weeks. I'd been too distracted to notice. I'll think about it, I said. Don't think. Just come, please. We talked for another hour, about nothing, about everything, about our childhood, our parents, the family business, about how John and I had always been rivals, even as kids, about how Dad had played us against each other, probably without meaning to. He loved you both, Connie said, but he showed it differently, gave John attention, gave you responsibility, and you both thought the other one had it better. John did have it better, I said. Did he? He's 42 years old, unemployed, living in a studio apartment, and everyone in town hates him. You've got the business, the girls, and a future. Who really won? I don't feel like I won, I admitted. That's because you're measuring the wrong things. You're measuring revenge, measuring how much you've hurt them. But that's not winning. That's just suffering differently. After we hung up, I sat in the dark, thinking about what she'd said. She was right. I knew she was right. But I didn't know how to stop. Didn't know how to let go of the anger, the need for revenge. The next morning, I drove to the office. Found Carl there, working on Christmas Day. What are you doing here? I asked. Could ask you the same thing, he said. Thought you'd be with the girls. They're with Beth. He closed his laptop. Want some coffee? We sat in the break room, drinking terrible office coffee, not talking. Finally, Carl said, You need to let it go, Ray. Everyone keeps telling me that. Because everyone's right. This thing with John and Beth, it's eating you alive, and it's affecting the business, affecting your kids, affecting everyone around you. I know, I said. So stop. Just stop. Move on. Build a new life. I don't know how. Sure you do. You start by forgiving them. I laughed, bitter, harsh. Forgive them? After what they did? Not for them, Carl said. For you. Because holding on to this anger, this need for revenge, it's killing you. And if you don't let it go, it's going to destroy everything you've worked for. He was right. I knew he was right. But forgiveness felt impossible. Felt like letting them win. Think about it, Carl said. That's all I'm asking. I went home. Spent the rest of the day thinking. About revenge. About forgiveness. About who I'd been and who I'd become. About who I wanted to be. New Year's Eve, I got a text from an unknown number. This is John. Can we talk? I stared at the message for a long time. Then typed back, Why? Because I want to apologize. Really apologize. Not because I'm trying to get something from you, just because I'm sorry. Too late for sorry. I know. But I need to say it anyway. Please. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet him. Coffee shop on the edge of town. Neutral territory. He looked terrible, thinner, older, defeated. Thank you for coming, he said. I'm not here to forgive you, I said. So if that's what you want. It's not. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I just wanted to tell you I'm sorry. For all of it. For Beth. For the business. For being a shitty brother. Okay, I said. You told me. Now what? Now nothing. I'm leaving town. Got a job offer in Phoenix, starting over. I just wanted to say goodbye. Phoenix, I repeated. Yeah. Beth's staying here. We're not together anymore. Turns out, relationships built on betrayal don't last. Who knew? I should have felt satisfaction. Should have felt vindicated. But I just felt tired. I hope you find what you're looking for, I said, and meant it, mostly. You too, John said. And Ray, for what it's worth, I really am sorry. You deserved better, from both of us. He left. I sat there for a while, finishing my coffee, thinking. Maybe Connie was right. Maybe it was time to let go. To stop measuring my life by how much I'd hurt them and start measuring it by how much I'd healed. Maybe it was time to forgive. Not for them, for me. I pulled out my phone, called Connie. "I'll come to Seattle," I said, "after New Year's, for a week, maybe 2. "Really?" She sounded surprised, pleased. "Really? I need a break, need to figure some things out." "That's great, Ray. That's really great." We made plans. I hung up, felt lighter somehow, like I'd set down a weight I'd been carrying for months. I drove home, called the girls, made plans for dinner the next day, told them I loved them. Then I poured myself a bourbon, sat on the couch, thought about the past year, about Beth and John and the affair, about the divorce, about the revenge, about who I'd been and who I'd become, and about who I wanted to be going forward. The doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. Checked the peephole. Beth. I opened the door. "What are you doing here?" "I need to tell you something," she said. She looked nervous, scared. "Okay. Can I come in?" I hesitated, then stepped aside. We sat in the living room. Awkward, tense. "I'm pregnant," Beth said. The words hung in the air. I stared at her. "What?" "I'm pregnant. 10 weeks. It's John's." I felt like I'd been punched. You're having his baby?" "Yes." "Does he know?" "Not yet. I just found out yesterday. I wanted to tell you first." "Why?" "Because it affects the girls. Because it's going to come out eventually. Because I didn't want you to hear it from someone else." I stood up, walked to the window, looked out at the dark street. A baby. Beth and John were having a baby. I should have been furious. Should have felt betrayed all over again. But instead, I felt nothing. Just emptiness. "Are you keeping it?" I asked. "I don't know. I'm thinking about it." "Does John want it?" "I told you. He doesn't know yet." I turned to face her. "Why are you really here, Beth?" "I wanted to see if maybe we could..." "Could what? Get back together? Raise the baby as ours? Are you serious?" "No, I don't know what I wanted. I'm scared, Ray. I'm alone. I don't have anyone." "You have John. John's moving to Phoenix. We're not together anymore." "Then I guess you should have thought about that before you got pregnant." She started crying. "I know I hurt you. I know I don't deserve your help. But I don't know what else to do." I looked at her. Really looked at her. Saw the woman I'd married 16 years ago. The woman I'd loved. The woman who'd destroyed everything. And I felt pity. Just pity. "Figure it out," I said. "You're an adult. Make your choices. Live with them. But don't come to me for help. That part of my life is over. Ray, you need to leave now." She stood up, walked to the door, turned back. "I really am sorry, for all of it." "I know," I said, "but sorry doesn't change anything." She left. I closed the door, locked it, stood there in the silence, processing. A baby. The final twist in this nightmare. But it didn't change anything, not really. Beth and John had made their choices. Now they'd live with them, and I'd live with mine. I finished my bourbon, went to bed, slept better than I had in months, because I'd finally realized something. Revenge wasn't about making them suffer. It was about letting go, moving on, building a new life, and that's exactly what I was going to do. June sunshine streamed through the windows of my new house, small, comfortable, mine. The girls were in the backyard, setting up for a barbecue. Bo was starting college in the fall. Bree was doing better, back on the soccer team, her grades up. They were healing, slowly, but healing. Beth had kept the baby, a boy. John had come back from Phoenix when he found out, tried to make it work. They were living together now, in a small house on the other side of town. Struggling, but together. I'd seen them once, at Bree's soccer game. They'd looked tired, stressed, but not unhappy. I'd felt nothing. No anger, no satisfaction, just nothing. Carl knocked on the sliding glass door. "You want me to start the grill?" "Yeah, thanks." He'd been a good friend through all of this. Had kept the business running while I'd been in Seattle figuring out my life. Had never judged. Never pushed. Parrish Electric was thriving now. We'd landed the hospital contract, hired new people, expanded into commercial work. Mom had retired, sold me her shares. It was my company now, mine alone, and I was okay with that. My phone buzzed. Text from Connie. "How's the party?" "Good. Wish you were here." "Next time, love you, little brother. Love you too." I put the phone away, walked outside. The girls were laughing about something. Carl was arguing with the grill. The sun was warm. The beer was cold. Life was good. Not perfect. Not what I'd planned, but good. I'd learned something through all of this. Revenge was easy. Forgiveness was hard. But forgiveness was what set you free. I'd hurt Beth and John. They'd hurt me. We'd all hurt each other, in a cycle that could have gone on forever. But I'd chosen to stop, chosen to let go, chosen to build something new instead of destroying something old. And in the end, that was the real victory. Not making them suffer, but refusing to suffer myself. Paper cuts and thunder, that's what this had been. Small wounds that accumulated, storms that raged and passed. But the sun always came out eventually. You just had to survive long enough to see it. "Dad," Bree called. "Food's ready." "Coming," I called back. I walked across the grass toward my daughters, toward my friends, toward my future, and I didn't look back.